We are 10 years old in marriage now.
Yeah.
Why did you take the risk of marrying? At the point when I told you I wanted to marry you, and you accepted to marry me, do you think I was matured for marriage?
Nah.
So why then did you take the risk?
It wasn't okay. Let's say it like this. Even though you were not there yet in so many things, especially your emotions, I saw you as someone who was willing to learn. I saw you as someone who was open minded. So it was worth the risk. It was worth the risk because you were always willing to learn. That was the thing. You were always putting your ears down, listening to whatever I told you to do. And I saw that you were really trying.
Why didn't you think I was pretending at that point?
If someone is pretending, you will know. Like, you were not pretending because you always express how you feel. You never cover it up. You just say blah and just bring it all out. So if somebody was pretending, people always pretend to be good.
My being expressive made lots of people to misunderstand me. They thought I was being aggressive, but what they didn't know, I was being defensive against their judgmental attitude towards me because I wasn't a pastor's son. But above all, I'm not blaming anybody, but I needed lots of growing to do.
Well, when someone can't control their emotions when they're expressing themselves, it becomes a problem because it makes people just think that way. He's aggressive because there's nothing covering it up. People do not see the struggle behind it. They see what you are giving to them. So a lot of maturity comes when expressing yourself emotionally. A lot of maturity comes in.
A lot of people don't know the side effect of immaturity. Some people are not even mature, they don't know until you see yourself in a difficult situation. Surprisingly, I almost made a terrible mistake to lose Nosa before we got married.
So there was this incident that happened when we were dating that actually made me call it off. And in fact, it was actually a thing that if I actually share right now, it would sound like a very red flag. Because I went for an occasion, well, not really an occasion, like a recording.
Was it when you went for a recording with Simi?
Yeah.
Nosa was privileged to record in the studio as a backup singer with Simi for someone who was recording. I mean Simi, the superstar, Adekunle Gold's wife.
Yeah, we went for a recording at Ikeja. So we're both backup singers, and she was writing a verse for the song. It wasn't our song; it was somebody else's song. So we're both backup singers, and it was good. It was great. It was a good experience. And then I did not know that Simi was really going to blow. When I was done, and I told you I was coming back home, then the person offered us a ride, Simi and I. So since my bus stop was closer, so I was the person to drop first before Simi. So in the car, you asked and said, where are you now? I said, I'm in the car, and he'll drop us off. And you were asking other questions that was making it very uncomfortable for me to even answer in the car. Like, you were suspicious. Who is the person? How many of you are there? What? Like, I was like, what is all this? What is this? Because I've always grown up to be very free spirited. I am very adventurous. So I've never liked being caged, No, that's not just me. So I was like, what's all this monitoring spirits question like this? So I said, I'll talk to you later. And you were insisting that I answered you instantly. I said I'll talk to you later. So I cut the call and you kept calling. Then I think I put you on silent or so. And I'm sure instantly, the people in the car already noticed that something was wrong.
At that point, I was scared, I was restless. I was like, what if she ends up finding that kind of righteous brother, that kind of pastor's son that they were hoping that she was going to marry? I'm not talking about her parents, I'm talking about members in the church. But above all, do you know that I made a mistake of disturbing her with calls? Trust me, if there was video calls that time on WhatsApp, I would have said, make a video. Let me see who's there. Let me see what's happening in the car. But that is so unnecessary. Now that I'm a man, I can tell you that at that point, I was just fooling myself.
I got home. So you were like, who's the person? What relationship do you have with him? And I was like, where is all this coming from? And the thing was, if I was somebody who maybe was that kind of person, maybe sleeping around or anything, I would have said, I would have tried to defend myself, but it was me, like, no, sir. And you were asking me those questions, like, does he know who I am? These insults, it's the questions were like insults to me, to even ask me that, like, who is he? What relationship do you have with him? I asked somebody, the person said, for her not to be able to talk, it means that she's hiding something. I said,
Okay, hold it there. Let me say something.
A particular person came to me and said, oh, I heard you talking on the phone. Is it not that girl that used to come and see you that you are saying you want to marry? I told you these church girls are crazy. I told you these church girls can be very deceptive. Don't trust that girl. Oh, I am sure she's sleeping with that person now. And that's why she doesn't want to talk. I was so scared. That person is still fearing me. I was imagining how I was going to react to her like, you player, you unfaithful person, without evidence. Because somebody was feeding me with something and because I had fears that I had no evidence for. Look, let me tell you. Do you know, few years down the line, that person divorced. Be mindful of who you listen to when you are having situations.
you see, all these assuming things or presumptuousness, and instantly I just said, nah, this can't work. This can't, as in, I didn't even answer your questions because I was like, I'm not going to answer you. I have no point to prove. And that's one thing about me. I hate explaining myself. So I just said, nah, I have no point to prove. I'm not going to convince you that I had nothing to do with anybody. If you cannot believe anything from my mouth, then there's no point having a relationship. So I broke off with you. It's over. Harrison, get out of my life.
From experience, I can tell you now that it's important for you to trust anybody you have decided to marry. Simply because if you don't trust a man, don't employ the man. If you don't trust someone, why do you want to spend the rest of your life with that person? So don't over monitor at your own expense.
I got home. I think I blocked your number. Like, it was just over. Like, I was pissed that, is this the human being I want to get married to? If there are other situations that are even worse than this, that means he cannot believe anything I say. So there's no point. There's no point. And if he cannot actually trust you, there's no trust. Then what are we doing? What are we doing here? You know? So I called it off.
But now let me say something about the way I reacted at them. I'm not defending it. It was a very wrong act, and I wish I knew better. But the truth was, I was under pressure also. I knew the place we went to, these people were Christ-driven, but I knew even church boys used to snatch girls. So I was scared that you were going to end up finding somebody you would like them. I was scared also that you will find somebody that will fit into what people are saying you should marry. As a reverend's daughter, probably you will not see somebody that is Christ-driven. And I was just getting to know things about God at that point in time.
Yeah.
So I was like, what if she finds someone better than me? What if? The what if is what made me to be scared and made me to start thinking of things that she did not talk.
Now, going back and presently and throughout the 10 years we've been together for 13 years.
13
We're
years,
married
we're
for
married
10
for
years.
10
Yeah.
years.
So this whole period, most of the time when you react negatively, it's not because of a physical problem that already exists. It's actually because of a problem that you have created in your mind. It's anxiety. You fear about something happening. And then you're already reacting about what has not even happened. And like, you're already blowing flames everywhere like a dragon. You know?
You know one funny thing? I think for that 13 years that I've known you, I have never felt worthy enough to marry you.
So you were scared. And the
I've always
fear.
been scared. And when I got into the church where I met you, from what you said, a lot of people were expecting you to have married a pastor's daughter. A lot of people were expecting you to have married someone better. I felt inferior. I never felt worthy of
You
myself.
belonged.
But before that time, I always felt special before every other person I dated. But when I got to you,
Yeah.
I didn't feel worthy anymore because of how people made me feel.
Acceptance.
So the mistake I made was to focus on how they were treating me instead of focusing on what I saw myself to be.
Understand?
So I felt I was coming from a place where I wasn't worthy. And for that 12 years before this year now that we have, that's making the 13th year of knowing you and 10 years in marriage, I was living in fear. Not that you would cheat. It was just that day I was concerned, like, what if she finds somebody else that is better than me? It has always been a thing of, what's the guarantee that they won't talk her out of this marriage? What if she wakes up one day and she says she won't do this marriage anymore? So it has always kept me on my toes to make sure I don't become the reason for you to want to walk away. But one thing people didn't know was that I was not matured when I even said I wanted to marry you. I didn't even know I was not matured. I was living in my father's house with my other brothers in the same room when I visited a church. And when I told you I was going to marry you, the point was that I noticed that with you, I will have a home when I finally build a house. I've always wished to have a home in a house. So I was like, this person has the energy and the vibe that I would love to have for the rest of my life. That was why I wanted to marry you. Not because I was ready to take care of a woman. That is why the first 6 years of marriage was crazy. And I didn't even know I was still growing. I thought I was already a man because I now had a ring in my finger, because I already had a baby after like the 6 years in marriage. But my point is simple on this. A lot of people didn't know I was growing.
Sure.
That I needed to grow into the man they were thinking I should become, or what I should have been. So this will make me say that people should be patient.
They had a lot of
with people.
expectations.
The expectations were too high, and they wanted the expectations to manifest overnight. For somebody who just got to hear about Christ, not that I was not hearing on TV, not that I wasn't seeing people.
Not that you were not going to church before then. You were.
I was going to church to look for girls
And to steal Bibles to
and
sell.
to steal Bibles to sell. Because growing up, we used to go to Bible church to steal Bible, and when we steal the Bible, we'll go sell in Ring Road in Benin. We used to even go to Catholic church and steal their Bible and sell in Ring Road. Then in school, we never pay attention in class. We just want people to bring out their textbooks, like this Yawa Babio textbook.
Above you.
The moment they bring it out, we will know who now has that textbook. That textbook will not follow you home. We will steal it and go straight to Ring Road and sell it, use it to buy ice cream, or take one girl to one joint and buy her swear.
Even for
That's
useless
how it
things.
Because we wanted to impress the girl and all of that. So it wasn't a thing of going to church to know Christ. But it was when I met you, when you introduced the person of the Holy Spirit to me, when you spoke about Christ, and I said, this is a different thing about church.
And spoke about grace.
And you spoke about grace. So that made me fall in love with God. But I didn't experience that manifestation of love and grace with the people I was going to church with. So that made me very uncomfortable, and that made me to try to fight the system. And in fighting the system to prove that I'm worthy, I made mistake of giving them the impression like
You messed a lot of things up.
like I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
But I thank God today that 10 years in marriage has proven that I'm here to stay. Because a lot of people thought I was going to just use you and dump you. But what they didn't know, in my heart of heart, I made up my mind that this is the person I will hear about for the rest of my life.
Aww.
So I'm going to ask you this. Why me?
Okay, let me see. At first, I met you after NYC. I think we both finished NYC almost the same time. So I came to church and I met this. I met a lot of new faces because I was in school, I was in Benin, even though I lived in Lagos, and then I did NYC in Kaduna. So church was always about new faces for me. So then there was this guy who I just noticed that he liked to greet me. Any small thing, good afternoon. And I'll pretend like I did not hear. I'll pretend like I didn't hear anything. I'll just carry my face to another direction. Like,
Why were you doing that at all?
I did not like you. You're not my type.
I can't be now.
You're not my type. You're a Bini boy. Like, Bini boy. I don't like Bini boys. They are too ras.
Not all Benin boys.
Not all Bini boys. The ones that are like my brothers, the gentle ones, not your
For
type.
real, let me quickly say something before people misunderstand what you're saying. Your brothers, your cousins are different from the Benin boys I grew up with.
Yeah.
I don't know how these kind of people are so refined, gentle. There are other good Benin boys.
Like, yeah,
There are a lot of good Benin
There are a lot.
guys.
A lot.
But-
There was one I even went to school with. He said he lived in Benin. I did not believe. I said, you
Why
cannot
didn't you
believe
marry
in.
that person?
He was also not my type, but he was
What
calm.
was your type like?
Okay.
Because I know I'm still not your type.
You're not there yet.
10 years.
10
down.
years and we are still like, okay, let's see. And he's getting there. He's trying. He's trying.
Last lap before we reach
You
it,
know,
I'll get
I had
there.
a list of things that.
Oh, you join people with the right list.
Oh yeah, I had a list.
See why my
And
life was
funny
just
enough,
better than yours.
you did not
I
even
just
reach.
wanted only one thing from you. That when I build a house, a woman that I can have a home with.
I had a list.
Only one thing.
I showed that list to God.
Okay.
I said, God, this is the man I want.
Please. Just recommend some of those things. Let's hear.
Okay, first of all, I said the person would understand the gospel of grace.
Okay. Which you had to teach me.
Yeah, which I had to teach you. The person would be a man of the word.
Okay. Which I knew nothing about.
Someone that, even when I don't feel like reading my Bible, I don't feel like praying, someone that can encourage me. That was extremely important. That was my number one. Then my number two was somebody who is kind, who is a giver. You give, you try, you give. It's good. So that was a plus for you. And you give to the point of you giving what you don't even have. Like your mom would say, you go and look for people that need and pack all the food stuff in the house and give them and say, is it your own? You give your own property. Don't give what does not belong to you out. You know. So yeah, you give. And another thing that was on my list was somebody like Joseph in the Bible. I've always liked the character of Joseph because of how forgiving he was to his brothers. Like all the specs, Joseph was wise in his dealings. He was a man of God too. And most importantly, I think it's more of he had financial prowess, He knew how to make things prosper. He was in Potiphar's house. And Potiphar knows that I'm being blessed because of this guy. He was in prison and he was prosperous even in prison. And he became the prime minister because nobody could deny the fact that something was in this guy. So that was always my thought. I said, whoever I'm going to marry is going to be like Joseph in the Bible. So
somebody that can be a solution provider.
Yeah. So that people always turn to.
Wetness when there's dryness in pickles.
I see. This is IN2US show.
It's not Bolan. Okay, it's not Bolan. It's IN2US.
And I'm sure people always wonder, where is his wife? Where is he?
So people can see that I married somebody different from Bolan.
We are totally opposite. In short, there's nothing. We're like water and oil. We never. So it's actually incredible that we are still married till now. People always wonder. Now what on us day with everything, because a lot of water has passed under the bridge. So it's very astonishing to a lot of people, as in that we are still together. But yeah, that was my list. So when you came around, one thing that actually attracted me to you. Okay, first of all, let me say the things that did not attract me to you. You like to show off. So, like for example, we had a rally in church, and you came. We all had Nigerian flags, small flags in our hands. My guy came with flag that was like how many yards of material.
How did they cover Nigeria?
He used it to cover his car. I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. And in a way, I kind of knew that you were trying to get my attention with everything. Because even though you were driving and the rest of us were trekking all this on, I think it was Independence Day rally in church, going to go and win souls. And you kept saying, how you doing? Do you need water? You now gave me gala. I don't eat dried. I don't like dried snack. So as you gave me, I gave to somebody else. And I knew that you were like, what will I use to catch this girl now? Like nothing you were doing was it was making me angry.
They went out to win souls. I wanted to win your heart.
Everything you were doing was actually making me like, I don't like this guy. So one day you said, Nosa, good afternoon. So the Sunday after church. And as usual, I pretended like I did not hear. And you came in front of me and said, Nosa, I was talking to you. Good afternoon.
Boldness, guys. Be bold.
So I said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't say good afternoon." And I think that was when you started talking. Oh, what school do you attend? I was not interested in any business. Like, this guy should just leave me
So
alone.
God
Because
don't catch you
I was
now.
not even interested. Left to me, I didn't believe that I would marry anybody in that church. Because I didn't just see anybody there. I'm much more this new member that just came from nowhere. I didn't even know
That
about.
guy.
But this. And yeah, you were dating someone in church as well, who I actually thought was maybe your cousin. Then I discovered that she was not your cousin. She was actually your girlfriend. Because I think I discovered that when you asked me, I said, "Boy, I think I asked whether she was your cousin. You told me that you were dating her. Then later you told me that she broke up with you. So, okay, lots of drama already. A lot of drama already. But okay, let's see how it goes. So, the day you came to the house, should I talk about that day? Or should I actually talk about how you got my number? Because you asked me for my number and I said I wasn't going to give it to you. So, I mean, like, seriously, I didn't want anything to do with you at all.
Okay, now you mentioned something that I was dating someone when I came to the church. I need to mention something here. I got convinced that you were the one, even when I wasn't perfect for you. But I decided to make my move because I could see that you were going to end up as my wife. Even when I didn't even have up to 5,000 naira in my account, I was ready to marry you instantly. Why? Because I was dating somebody who invited me to the church for the first time. Because the person was like, you they go church at? I said, what I want to do for church? I know they go church. The person was like, follow me, go church. If you want me this relationship continue. I said, okay, I will come, sure. So we were still outside the compound of the church when we were about to enter the building. And that was my first time of going there. When I heard a voice, the person was singing. I didn't know that person was you. While the person was singing, I was like, that voice. We were about to enter the church because we probably almost like queued up because people were trying to enter the church and all of that. I think the person was leading worship. I told the girl I was dating that voice sounds like the voice I will hear for the rest of my life.
The fear spoke
So
the word.
The person now looked at me and like, you don't even know who they sing. They say that voice sounds like the voice that we hear for the rest of your life. I beg. So when we now sat down, the way they built the church that time, the altar was far off.
Yeah,
and we got there late. So
we
we were at the back, so I could not see the person. And the person kept on singing. I was like, that voice is the voice of the person I will marry. The girl I was dating now looked at me like, we are dating and you're telling me that voice is the voice of the person you will marry. I don't understand. I said, that's just what I am hearing inside my head. Not up to a week, she broke up with me. And I asked her why. I said, is it because of what I said in church? They said, no. It's because I was too old for her. I was actually 10 years older than her. 10 years older than her. Why did I date somebody that was 10 years younger? Because I was dating somebody that was my age mate during NYSC. And I saw that I couldn't marry the person. And I felt, okay, maybe I should marry someone younger that I can groom into marriage the way I want a wife. But surprisingly, this person said I was too old for her, that she can't marry me. And she broke up with me. So I said I will never go to that useless church again. Surprisingly, it was the day that somebody came from the church to do follow up. You know, when you go to a church for the first time, they take your name, they take your details. So the person that came to do follow up, surprisingly, is my mother-in-law today. So the person came and said, oh,
the resident
church,
pastor.
we didn't see you again. She was the resident pastor. So we didn't see you again. Please, brother, we want you to come to church. Because the name I wrote on that paper was Harrison. So she now said, what's your surname? I said, Igbe. She said, you are Benin. I said, yes. She said she was Benin. She now said, oh, yeah, I said, yes, so yeah, do Then my mom just shouted from upstairs, gave her, because they call me Ogeva. I'm a moral giver. Gave her. I said, my day. She now said, let me greet your mom. That's how we now got to know that, oh, we're all Benin and everything. She now said, my son, come back to church. I said, I'm not coming back to your church because I didn't want that girl that broke up with me to see me. She now said, no, my son, come. My daughter just finished NYSC. Like you said, he just finished NYSC. Come to church. It's good you people meet so people can share NYSC stories. My mind, I was like, okay, let me just go. See, she's a Benin woman. That's why I went to church. And the daughter they spoke about was the person that was singing that very day that I told the girl I was dating that sounds like the voice of the person I'll marry for the rest of my life. I said, oh, I think I cited you. You were the one singing because that person was carrying dreads and you're carrying dreads. She said, oh, yeah, I actually sang that Sunday and all of that. So I come in now. After 10 years, we are still married.
So I'll continue by stating the whys, of what attracted me to you. So I didn't give you my number, and somehow you found someone that was living in my house. She was in secondary school then, and you asked her for my number. I'm sure maybe she was very young. That was why. But you promised her to buy her airtime if she gave you my number. So she agreed. She betrayed me. And she gave me my number. Next I got this call. Hello, oh, it's Harrison. I was like, who's Harrison? What? I kind of knew who it might be, but I was like, I didn't give any Harrison my number. Oh, this person gave me your number and everything. Man, I went like, I'll kill her. What? So I was like, oh yeah, where do you stay? I said, don't worry about it. Don't worry. You'll see me in church when you see me in church. Don't worry. I'm fine. Thank you. So only for one day, I was gingerly in my house. And the next thing, this same girl came to me and said, Uncle Harrison is downstairs. Came to see you. I was like, me? It's not me. Because I did not give you my
Guys, be
address.
determined. Go all out.
I said, I didn't give you my address.
Don't get discouraged.
So she was confused. She was like, I was coming home. Then he saw me on the road and said, let me drop you in the house. So that's how he came. Like, are you okay?
Actually, I saw her coming from the market.
Okay.
And I was driving somewhere. I was actually going to visit someone. I said, wow, this girl is carrying load. That means she's going home. This is a chance for me to know that girl's house.
Can you imagine?
I said, okay, can I drop you off? She said, no, don't worry. I said, please, let me just drop you off. It's about to rain. That was the excuse I used. So that's how I got to your house.
So that is how he found out where I stayed. It's Martinus. So I said, tell him I'm not at home. This time, the door of the room was open and I knew that he could hear me from downstairs. I wanted him to know that I was not interested. He should pack his load and go. So I said, tell him I'm not at home. So she stood confused because she knew that he would have heard what you just said, but you'd want me to still go downstairs and say that you are not at home. Like, so she was very confused and stood on one spot and like looking left and right. What am I supposed to do? So my sister, she said, no, sir, just go downstairs and see him at least. Give him the decency. He already came. You can't just do that. So that's when I did. And funny enough, I've never been this rude to anybody before in my life.
Everyone wanted you to lose a good man.
I've never been this mean to anybody. I'm this very kind, jovial, always smiling person.
Everyone wanted to take a good man away.
On what episode this guy was just annoying me. So I just, okay, just for the decency of it, right? Okay, we'll do that. So I came downstairs and you were talking, oh, what do? You said you produce videos and everything. You're also into some music. You have a studio. And it sounded very interesting because I've always loved creativity. So when it comes to the arts, like making movies, music, in short, that already caught my attention. Like then you now showed me your music video that you did. I was like, okay, that's cool. I said, you did this in your house? I said, yes. I said, you shot it, you did the lights and everything by yourself. I was like, okay, that's very impressive. So I think I called my brother to come and also see the video. So he did this in his house. I was like, okay. That's cool. And I know that my brothers have a very creative mind too. They know how to judge things. Like, okay, he has prospects. Okay. So that was when I was like, let's do this creativity thing. So we started talking about movies. And I discovered that, I knew a lot of things about creativity that you didn't even know. So we started sharing ideas. I started talking about how to shoot the darkness. I seem to know things that I don't actually do. I'm good at saying, why don't you do it like this? I don't actually know how to do it, but I have.
Watching lots of movies, and you don't just watch for the fun of it. You watch and you observe.
We study.
You want to create things like that. You practically study movies.
We study movies. Like my brothers and I were not into production, but we study movies. We have director's cut of movies.
Yeah, they will watch the normal cut and they will watch director's cut.
Like, and none of us are even into front. We don't even own one single camera. So that actually attracted me to you. I think that was the basis of our discussion. We now started talking. I started getting to know you. And another thing again that attracted me to you was you love to ask questions. So you started asking me a lot of questions. And I'm not somebody that usually opens up. So that was actually a good thing.
So we're going to talk more in the next episode about the challenges we've gone through in marriage for over 10 years and how we overcame and how we are staying strong, how we are making sure we make this marriage work. You will learn a lot from our true stories. So this is IN2US. I'm Harrison.
And I'm Nosa.
Guys, you're going to learn amazing things. Watch the next episode.